Welcome to Radio Fixer's channel. Subscribe for upcoming videos. Hello, welcome back. This is part 3 of restoring Kent's Tube Radio. If you're a new subscriber, I want to welcome you, and I highly suggest to go back and watch other parts of restoring this radio. In part 3, we're going to install the speaker, replace the bad resistors, we're going to clean all the connections, and also we're going to troubleshoot the radio, and then we will test the radio to see if it's working or not. I want to also take the opportunity and thank Steve. He was nice enough to let me know where to find the schematics for this radio, and I really appreciate all the comments that you guys have. Thank you so much, and you all have a great day. Enjoy the video. Let's install this speaker. This speaker has just 2 screws to hook up to the chassis. Alright, we got this around this cord, through this open end was pretty hard. And what I had to do is lubricate this. I think it's the leather. Lubricate it and try to stretch it a little bit so the wire actually goes through right here. It goes between these two and it comes the other side. It was complicated, and some was a time consuming to do it this way, but I didn't want to put any extra hole. Just again, what I did, I used oil and then let it sit just for a little bit, and then use the screwdriver to move it around, adjust it so the extension, this cord goes actually through. I'm going to solder it to where it needs to be soldered, and move to the next thing. This old solder takes a long time to melt them. Okay, this is going to be last capacitors. Okay, so I'm going to solder this, then work on the other one. Okay, that is good. Solder worked very well. Excellent. Okay, I'm checking to see how everything, all the solders are good. Make sure all the connections are fine. Let's talk about some safety issue. You're dealing with electricity. It's very dangerous. It can kill you, so be very careful, please. I need a few equipment that you can purchase it in Amazon First one, you must have isolated transformer to keep you safe when you're working in the antique radios, and also variable condenser, or they call it variac. You can actually adjust the amount of electricity comes inside the radio. And this one, the dim bulb tester, you can actually build this yourself. You can Google it. There's tons of information out there. This is the setup I'm using on my workbench. Please make sure you know to use this equipment to keep you safe. I hooked up radio. This is the first time I'm going to hook it up to electricity. I already hooked it up right here. This is on upper position, which is going to activate the bulb. I want to monitor that. So that's the start. Low volt, and gradually going to increase it. I'm going to watch for the sign also to read the amps and also volts to see how the radio is doing. See that light is on, 50 volt. There's no sound. So no sound is coming through. There's several things I can do. Can hook up to the auxiliary speaker to see maybe the issue is a speaker. I hope it's not a speaker transformer. Did some voltage test, and the voltage was very low. I forgot to test the resistors, for put a capacitor back, and almost all the resistors are totally off. Like this one is supposed to be 500K and was over, no, it was 800. Sorry, it was 800. And the other one, this one, it's the schematic shows supposed to be 5 meg and was over 10 meg. And this is what the schematic they was showing right there. Seeing 5 meg, the one I tested was about over 10 meg. Number 5 is a 500K, which the one on radio was close to 800K, which is 20% for both of them, is pretty high. So I replaced those, and this is, I had to move the capacitor out. These are the two I replaced. Now I have a few more to replace, almost all of them they're off except maybe one of them or so. And this is another one right here. And there's a couple of them back here too. I'm going to test them before remove them. If they do not need to be removed, I'm going to leave them alone. So those are replaced, and so I'm going to put the capacitor back, then move on to the next one. I guess that's the good thing about installing the capacitor or resistor this way, because the installation, if there's any issue, you can take it out quickly and reinstall them. Alright, that is done. Now let's work another resistor. I need to measure them to see which one is off. As you know, when you're testing a resistor, it's going to be much better if you remove all the tubes. It gives you accurate reading. In capacitor, you need to disconnect to test it. That's what I saw other people restoring radios. But resistor, guess it's not necessary to remove it. All right, I'm testing another resistor, and the colors is brown and the end is black and it has a green dot. And I'm checking online, and that is a 1 meg. But as you see here, the resistance shows 1.5 meg. Really, 1 meg, 20%. What is supposed to have 20%? If you add, that's going to be a 1.2 meg, not 1.5. That is high, so I need to replace this one as well. I think all the resistors should be bad because the condition was this radio when I purchased it was not, as you noticed, it was in good condition at all. So let's change that one as well. After days of spending hours and hours checking every connection here, check the wire continuity, test with voltmeter, try everything. And the only thing I found tonight was, one of the wire, and right here from at, pin 8 was hooked up to right here, instead of hooked up directly to go through this, capacitor. Was going through the different capacitor. So I disconnect that, I set it up like this, and let's try it. Let's try if it works or not. It's working. It's working. Of course, the sound is not that great because it's under fluorescent light. If I turn off the fluorescent light, it might be better. It's success. That's so exciting. Finally, this thing started working. I thought there was no way we could save this radio. And so glad that it could be saved. Anyway, now let me solder everything the way it's supposed to be. And then we try it again. Okay, folks, as you know, this radio has 3 vacuum tubes. One of them is 50 volts, another 25, and third one is 35. If you add them together, that's about 110 volts. As you see here, this receiver designed for the 115 volts DC. So we are, because today, here in United States, the household is about 121, sometimes 122 volts. So this is about 110. So we are 11 volts, is extra that we need to do something with it. See, I add all here together. Here I'm measuring the AC for the house, and as you see, it's 121 volts. I just hooked it up to drag to the plug and also hooked it up to here. This is 121 volts. All right, I'm using multimeter reading this, I believe they call it sand resistor. It's all sands over it, believe it or not. Right on it, it says 60 something, 69, I believe, and it's still reading 69 ohm. The sand resistors is still in great working condition. So what I will do, I'm gonna remove that sand resistor with this type of resistor. Currently I do not have the right size. I think I should use 5 watts or maybe 10 watts to 75 ohm and replace that sand resistor so I can run this radio directly to the house at 220 volts and not being worried that anything going to happen to this radio. Here is the last test. What I did, I actually add a new antenna here, and as you see is right here is actually this where the antenna was hooked up. I looped it around and brought it into the radio. I looped it back so that way if it's being pulled, it doesn't, break the soldering area, break the spark. So now it's secure. So that's what I did. The radio is already hooked up to the electricity, and what is actually showing, that is the watts, the kilowatt is 17.2, the amps is 0.15, and the line voltage is about 119.8, is almost 120 volts. So we're going to start the radio. The noise you hear, that is a transformer. I still hook it up to the transformer, just make sure safe. And here the light tester, as you see, is off. And right now is a direct current. So if you switch it up, it goes to, if we switch it up like that, see that it's going to activate the light bulb tester, which I don't want to use that. And you see that when I do that, it dropped the voltage. So I'm going to switch this back. You will see the voltage now is 100, almost 120, and it matched the other one as well. All right. I can tell here, the watts, amps, and also volts, line voltage. How much power it comes inside, the radio. All right. So let's turn on the radio, and it's going to take a little time to come on.
Offense have gotten much better, have more experience at quarterback, and things would go. So we'll correct the things today, finish correcting things today for the NC State game, progress on, and get ready to play. All right, we begin hour number 3, Midday Chalk. You're live today from Atlantic Beach. The web.com tour continues.
As you can tell, this little radio is so powerful. I haven't even cranked it all the way, just a little bit. This is just a little
500
bit.
today. He's your course leader. We'll keep you updated on everything going on.
This is just a comparison how small this radio is. The chassis is done. I need to work on the body of the radio. I want to take the opportunity and thank you for taking your valuable time watching these videos. If you're interested to see more videos like this, feel free to subscribe to my channel, and you will be notified when new video being uploaded. You have a great day.